Hey again. I keep having this going in my head. You should have knew I was coming. And it's a song, of course. I don't remember exactly who sings it. But I want to say it's NF. And you should have knew I was coming. And it's one of those things that as children we look for acceptance, right? We hold ourselves back, we dim our light, we hide our face. Don't look at me. And I was that very shy child, just like peeking out from behind my mom, and you don't see me. And now I'm like, hey. And it's funny because even my boyfriend's like, I would have never pegged you as a shy person. And my face was like this in a book for a long time. Didn't want anybody to see me. Didn't want anybody to ask me questions. Don't ask my opinion. I don't know anything. I felt very stupid, insecure, just not worth being here, And even the stories I used to write, make up, had to do with my name is nobody, And it took me a long time to realize I'm somebody and I'm the most important person in my world. I mean, I love my children. They do come first. But you can't have other people come before you. You have to worry about your health, your mindset, your soul, your well-being before you can put others before you. And it's being in that healthy mindset of being able to say, hey, I'm going to put me first. Not all the time, but a lot of the time. I'm going to choose what's best for me. And then when you start doing that, when you find the ability to find that you're not being selfish, that you're actually pampering yourself. And it took me a long time to be okay with pampering myself. Even when I was writing my healing program, I had to ask myself, what does it mean to pamper me? What does it mean? Isn't that selfish? And I had to really work within my own mind. No, that's not selfish. And if someone tells me that me taking a bubble bath or me buying face masks or me going to the gym is spending extra money, or me eating healthy because I want to and it costs more, or just different aspects for me of what it meant to put me first. If somebody was telling me that was wrong, I was selfish, I started to look at that person and realize they were not for my game, and it was hard, especially realizing that, okay, I'm with somebody who doesn't care about my health. If they don't care about my health, they don't care about themselves, which means they're no longer needed in my life because they're that toxicity that's holding me back. So now that I've started like pushing the toxic away more and more and more, I'd rather stand alone and this little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. It turns into, you should have knew I was coming. And it's funny because when it comes down to it, when you're in the darkness, nobody really has concern about who you are, what you're capable of. But when you begin to show up and speak your mind and you bring a little bit of controversy to the world around you, that's when people start going, shut it down. No, where do you get that? Who do you think you are? And it's as simple as, let me tell you who I am. I'm me. I'm okay being me. And you're not going to make me feel bad about it at all. If anyone should feel bad, it should be you for trying to make me feel small, right? So if you're around people that want you to play small, kick them off your team because they're small and they can't get tall. And when it comes down to it, when you want to be that bigger person, and I don't mean in the sense that you're going to listen to me, I'm on top, not the warden, not the drill sergeant, but where you want to be the leader, you have something insightful to say. You have good guidance for a world that's gone missing mentally. When you have something to put forth, you bring something to the table. Don't let anyone take that away from you. Just keep hearing the words in your head the same as I'm hearing today. You should have knew I was coming. You weren't going to hold me down forever. Are you silly? You silly. It's not your purpose to hold me back. Your purpose is to build you up. I'll help build you up. I'll tell you that you're inspiring. I'll tell you what you've done for me. I'll tell you how I love you. I'll forgive you. I will love you unconditionally. But if you don't fit in my life, I'll do that from afar. Right? I don't have to let toxicity into my world. We have the right to protect ourselves. Those are called boundaries. If anyone's telling you that your boundaries are selfish, get rid of them. They're having a hard time not being able to manipulate and control you. So when it comes down to it, you've got to come first. That goes back to that selfish nature. But being aware of yourself, protective of yourself, loving of yourself, these are essential if you're going to grow in any aspect of a spiritual manner. Because these are things that the ego does not want you to do. Why? Because the ego has to shrink while spirit grows. But when you live in the world that you're shrouded in darkness and that ego is so inflated, it doesn't want to go away. It doesn't fit in anymore. And this is where you have to learn to be comfortable to say, you should have knew I was coming. I'm coming for you. And the funny thing is, I came for me well before I came for anybody else. I had to check myself because I was wrecking myself. I got to a point where I was going to allow myself to basically meet death at an earlier age than would have been expected, because I couldn't pick and choose what was good for my soul. I couldn't think with my own mind of how to move forward in a healthier light, of things that would benefit me, that would allow personal growth, that would allow me to shine my individuality on the world. And it's little things that you do that are unique to you. It's little things like that that are important for the world to go, you don't mind acting like that. Why do I feel so insecure? And these are the moments where it's kind of like my kids used to get embarrassed, right? When we'd go to Lowe's or Home Depot and I'm dancing in the aisle because they're playing dance music and the aisles are made for dancing. This is what I always told them. As long as there was nothing hazardous around, I enjoyed my time out in the world, and thought, I'm going to embrace the day. I'm not hurting anybody. I'm moving energy around. I'm embracing my fun side. And there were some people that would be like, ugh. And then there were some people that they'd smirk and smile. And then you'd see other people. It was kind of contagious, right? Because we are contagious. What our level of comfort creates an atmosphere for others to embrace their level of comfort. And one thing I have found when I act kooky, when I act redonkulous, idiotic, these are things that allow people to kind of like, oh, wow, I don't have to be so uptight. I don't have to worry about what anybody thinks about me because they're all looking at her acting foolish. Hi, that's me. I'm here to enjoy my life. And it took me so long of not enjoying my life and being in a straitjacket and just, I don't want anybody to judge me, because I was with somebody who judged me so harshly, that forced me to judge me so harshly, that had me question every action that I was doing, every thought I was having, to where I was just kind of like, I was afraid. I didn't even know it was fear. I didn't even know I feared myself. I had to have somebody else there that I had to fear to actually see what fear truly was. And once I realized, it doesn't make me a coward. It just kind of shows me things I need to work on. Things I need to build up to make me stronger as a person. And it's just like going to the gym. I've used this example a couple of times. That you go to get results. So when you're around toxic people, as you're doing things and it makes you uncomfortable and they're reacting in a way that makes you feel a little nervous, keep going. You're on the right track. You're seeing results. It's just the results are not as visually rewarding as what you're going to see at the gym. You know, you look at your body and you're like, oh, I'm getting toned. I look good. I can't wait till bikini season. But when it comes down to the spiritual growth, that spiritual maintenance, when you make all those around you uncomfortable, like I said, you're on the right track. Keep going. Because like I had to tell somebody the other day, whenever you're moving forward in life and you feel like you're growing on a spiritual level, that you're excelling, and something keeps pulling you back or poking at you or trying to provoke you, that means you're on the right path. He said, really? Heck yeah, man. That means you're doing something right, because you're irritating the demons within other people, the darkness within other people, the ego within other people. People don't want their bubble busted. Because if their bubble's busted, then the whole reality is not real. And that leads to a spiritual awakening, which leads to a lot of discomfort, especially when there's nobody to guide you through it. Because like I've said, there's no teachers that were teaching us about the spiritual side of us. Our ego has been spoon-fed for so many centuries to survive, to thrive, regardless of what environment you're thriving in, how toxic it may be, how destructive it is to your soul and your spirit. And those are the only things we've been shown, that this is the right way to go. Who knew we were all going the wrong direction? Who knew that we were going towards our death rather than to a place of reward and blessings and abundance and love and light? I'm not saying everybody's going to hear this and turn on a dime, but hopefully these messages are reaching people to kind of, I didn't think about that. Just a tap on the shoulder. I'm not smacking you in the face telling you to wake up. Just want you to question the ideas you've been spoon-fed your entire life. Because just because you're taught something, shown a way, doesn't mean it's correct. You know, I used to always tell my ex, just because I'm wrong doesn't make you right. That's your truth. That's your opinion. That's your fact. I don't have to accept it, especially if it's demeaning to my existence. You don't get to have the upper hand because, I'm right and you're wrong. Be whatever you want to be. I'm still going to hold on to what I believe. When you believe in something so soundly, it is the foundation of what you are building for your life, what is great for you. Don't let anyone start plucking away at that, because the more that they see, the taller the tree is, right? Start chopping at it. You don't get to be so beautiful and glorious. Who do you think you are? And remind them, I am who I am. Be okay with who you are. Because you know what? You're perfect the way you are. You're exactly where you need to be at this very moment in your existence. You're learning every single day. You're teaching others every single day, regardless of what you think. I had to tell my boyfriend yesterday, I said, I really appreciate you. You've taught me a lot. I have? What have I taught you? You've taught me to embrace my body. You've taught me to love myself for who I am. You've taught me to take that extra time for myself and not feel guilty about it. You've taught me to indulge just a little bit. You've taught me to do things that help me step out of what I thought I needed to do, to expand my mind. Kind of blew him away. I taught you that? And he taught me all of that just by being who he was and encouraging me to take time for myself. So you never know who you're teaching. You really don't ever even realize who you're learning from. Because my kids teach me something every single day. They teach me more about unconditional love than anybody in the world could ever teach me. And it's funny because that's what they've been taught. If you lash out on somebody, you're teaching them to lash out on others. If you're building somebody's pain body up so much that all they can do is that on everybody else, that's what you're teaching them to give to the world. So ask yourself, what are you teaching others? What are you telling others it's okay to do to others around them plus themselves? What are you telling others you're willing to accept and you're not willing to accept? And these are questions we really need to start batting around in our heads. And when you start batting these questions around and you start answering these questions, one day you're going to say, you should have knew I was coming. Because you're not going to stop me. This light train, this glory train, is going to pull into the station. No one's going to stop it. Because we all have the right to be the light that's going to help better the world in which we live in. You don't have to fit in. You don't have to be toxic. You don't have to be bitter. These are choices. It is a choice to get hurt and let that hurt choke you. Just like it is a choice to be hurt and say, I don't want anybody to ever feel that again. That was the difference between me and a lot of people I've met. I don't want others to feel suicidal. I don't want others to want to lay down and give up. I don't want others to allow themselves to be subjected to a toxic world that doesn't allow them to grow or even breathe. I don't want others to silence their ideas and their minds. We need them. I don't want people to take their creativity away. If you were to take that away, you got a bunch of nothings creating noise rather than music. Or a bunch of splatter instead of something that makes you go, ooh, something that speaks to your soul. So don't let anyone keep degrading you to a point that you think you belong in a jar on a shelf, their shelf, for them to pull out and be entertained with whenever they choose. You're not here to entertain anybody, especially when they want to keep you in a cage. You are here to be glorified in your very existence of everything that you are, and you do that by shining. And you do that by getting to know yourself, love yourself, trust yourself. Don't listen to the outside voices that are going to, what is wrong with you? You know what's wrong with me? I'm perfectly happy being me, and you're insecure knowing that, and you don't even know who you are. So why let somebody who doesn't know who they are judge who you should be? That doesn't make sense. That's asinine. That's like idiocracy at its worst, or best, however you want to look at it. But trusting the voice of another before trusting that internal voice within yourself, that higher guidance, that intuition, that's the thing that shuts you down. And you know who shuts you down? Those that want to keep you in the dark, those that want to keep you from shining a bright light on who they are. The ones that are not willing to do the work. The ones that are not willing to look themselves in the face and have to be the ones to tear themselves down to build themselves back up. That takes courage to be the one that is, I'm going to work on me today. I'm not going to judge you. You're going to do what you're going to do anyways. Judge in the matter of, did it hurt you? Did it affect you? Do they need to be in your life? Because someone told me before, I thought you weren't judgmental, but you don't let people around you. Oh, sweetheart, that's not being judgmental. That's called having boundaries. That is protecting myself. This is my empire. This is my kingdom. Not everyone shall enter. Because when it comes to energy, for some of us, it is a privilege to be around us. Because we exude healing. We exude light. We exude the pure essence of life. And those that want to come around and see that and squash it or take it away, shoot. Go away. You do not deserve to be in my presence. You do not deserve to get to feel the almighty power of the love, authenticity of being. Because if you're not going to work to get in connection to something that's greater than yourself, and actually give gratitude to that, don't try to sit next to me. Because I will not sit amongst the devils and be silenced and hide the one thing that will set everybody free, which is to love yourself, express yourself, accept yourself. And don't be afraid to show others that you're willing to do that. Because for all of those that are not willing to do that, like I said, they're the ones that will try and poke and knock down your foundation. You work too hard to have this foundation. Don't let anyone take it away from you. So you have to learn to start using that discernment. Stop listening to the voices around you and trust the ones that are within you. Once you can start hearing with discernment, picking carefully, you'll start to see you're seen in a different light. You'll start attracting those that are more beneficial and supportive in your journey, in your path. You'll actually start finding people that are more in alignment with the path you are on because they too are on the same path. Now you can walk hand in hand rather than get out of my way, fighting one another. So just ask yourself who you want to walk with today. And I'm going to cut it off here because the message is getting long, but peace, love, and light, and holler at you later. Bye-bye.